bringing to you my top 3 favorite lat exercises and a couple of small little tips to help you grow some wings. Let's get into it. Okay, so first tip that I'm going to throw at you guys is straps. Now, a lot of people, powerlifters especially, they'll rag on bodybuilders and whomever else for wearing straps just because, you know, you're not training your grip. The thing is, you don't want the limiting factor of the amount of tension you can put on your lats or any kind of muscle in your back for that, because based off your grip. These straps here, they help dramatically in making sure that I save my forearm, save my wrist, save my hands, and that I can always make sure that it's the muscle that fatigues and it's not my grip that fatigues first. So that's the first tip that I want to give into you guys. Second tip for lats, you have to think of origin and insertion. Lat inserts up in the back of the humerus and then comes down and wraps around your rib cage to your spine and down to your pelvis. So with any kind of lat movement, you need to be thinking driving that elbow and that shoulder forward, because if you're only the elbow, you're stretching most of it. But if you let that shoulder roll as well, that'll engage more of that lat, stretch more of that lat. But then as you're pulling back down and around, you're thinking about actually pulling around your rib cage to your back, to your spine. Third little quick tip for you guys too is anytime that you're trying to bias the lats in any kind of movement, you're going to be more aiming for a neutral or supinated grip. Anytime that you're doing more of a pronated grip, it's going to cause elbow abduction from your body, which is in turn typically going to utilize more of your rear delt or your teres muscles. Again, hitting the lats, we want more of that neutral grip where we're driving that elbow back and down, or that supinated grip underhand to really allow that lat to be engaged. So let's get into some exercises. First of my favorite 3 lat exercises is a single arm cable row. Now, I'm mildly bougie. I really like using these soft handles. It's the first thing I always do. Grab your handles, make sure they're proper length for you. Second thing too is the setup. So you'll notice that I'm only sitting with half of my cheek even on this bench here. I have my right foot set up here and I actually have my whole shoulder joint aligned with the cable boom itself. So I'll wrap my strap around. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I line myself up so that my shoulder and my elbow and my wrist are completely all aligned with this cable. I don't want to have everything way out here or way too much on the inside. Having everything aligned is going to allow the tension to be put on the muscles appropriately and not put a lot of extra tension on the joints themselves to cause injury. Now, as I perform this row, one of the big things that I really want to focus on, not just driving my elbow back and down, but that my shoulder in the stretch position raises and pulls, but then comes back and goes down in a diagonal angle as well. So it's really trying to have my elbow and my shoulder wrap around my rib cage. With this, you want to make sure you have mild torso rotation as well. You don't need the torso rotation, if anything, that's going to hinder it. But make sure that you have that full extension here, so it's stretched, lat is engaged, and as I pull, my wrist follows my elbow, but then as it comes around, I try to twist that and pull it around to my spine. So that's the first exercise. Second favorite lat exercise, we're going to be doing a kneeling single arm high row. You're going to notice that all of these exercises are single arm. Reason being is I find that that is probably the most efficient way to fully connect to the lat. Anytime that I've found I'm doing a bilateral movement, both hands at the same time to try to hit my lats, I feel like I'm actually just pulling and that I'm not actually connecting to the muscle. I really like to connect to my lats. I find that I get the most growth after I've connected. So single arm, high row, kneeling. Now from back here, the way I set this up is I kneel on the opposite side than what I'm braced with. It doesn't overly matter massively on which knee you're bracing on, so long as you're consistent on that, as it does make slight changes into the way that the muscles want to contract and stretch. The way that I like this is I feel like my lat is more stretched where I'm kneeling on my other side. Now from here, same kind of aspect, neutral grip, shoulders extended, elbows up high, and I'm trying to pull the shoulder and the elbow back and down and around, like as if it's going around my rib cage. favorite lat exercise. I'm doing an iliac single arm pull down. So what I do is I have this bench set up so it's at the same angle that I'm going to be pulling down from. So as you notice with the row, with the high row, I'm still pulling in a diagonal motion from here. It's still a row. It's not a complete pull down. With this, I'm going to be having my chest up against the pad and I'm going to be having my hand directly above my head. So I'll be pulling in the direction downwards with those fibers. So from here, wrap my wrap around, take it down. With this pull down, I have the same knee down and the side that I'm working with. So from here, I grab and support myself with a bench. And again, it's all about that shoulder elevation and depression. One of the biggest factors to also note with all three of these exercises, I'm ensuring that my wrist is following my elbow as I pull through the entire movement. There's no point that my wrist is higher, lower, or to either side, more so than my elbow. I do this again to ensure safety on my elbows. I've had a lot of injuries in the past. If you want to avoid them, that's one of the things that I recommend you focus on doing during your lat training. Okay guys, so those are my top 3 favorite lat exercises. Help you really nicely grow some wings. So ones that I've done a lot in my off season, ones that I'm going to carry into prep, and ones that I'm going to make it so that I fucking do well in those back poses. So I recommend you give them a shot too. Let me know what you think. Again, make sure you're using straps so that's not a limiting factor. And hit me up next time. Peace.